TV, News 8 and 11 with Phil Sanchez.
From Tide Pods to borax, dangerous trends on social media tend to make headlines and leave parents worrying about their children. Tonight, parent coach Mary Van Geffen joining us once again for our Unfiltered conversation for some perspective on this. Mary, good to see you. Why has this become such a thing?
I think it's sort of the tip of the iceberg. We can as parents and as a community point to these very destructive things like devious licks and borax as like, oh, that's the problem, because we're really scared about the bigger problem of sort of this loneliest generation that's ever been and the mental illness that is happening as a result of just this deep connection to online social media. And so I don't think the actual trends are that bad. There's some great trends like shadow boxing. Love to do that with you, Phil, sometime. Or the fact that feta and tomatoes are now being cooked again. What else? There's the Sleepy Girl mocktail, which is all about putting There's great things on the internet. That's not really the concern. The concern is what this is replacing. There's a real deficit of free play for children.
Yeah.
And we as parents, there's parts we can control and parts we're just concerned about, but we can't control. We can control what happens in our home. And specifically, there is a real epidemic of us phubbing our kids. You know what that means,
How
Phil?
so? Go ahead. Tell us.
Phubbing is intentionally ignoring the person who's in the room with you in favor of scrolling on your phone. And research has shown that when we as parents do that often, and I'm as bad at it as your viewers, I'm sure, we help to create an addiction to phones in our middle schooler. They've shown a real connection there. So we can control us getting off of our phones. We can control us planning family meals several times a week where we're asking in a non-judgmental way, what are you seeing online these days? We shouldn't be surprised by the things that our child are seeing. We shouldn't have them online before they're 13. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
So family meals, having islands of screen-free time where maybe it feels like it's a little out of control, the screens in your home. Make certain times where we are not on screens, and then we need to model that. And lastly, I'll say, one way to protect against these kind of trends is no teenager should have a phone or a computer in their room at night. There's no good that comes from that.
I would agree with all of that. So a lot of this is also easier said than done in today's times. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
So how do you make it work?
You make it work if it depends on where you are in the development of your family, right? If you've got a little kid, you can't go back once you start to give access to your children. It's so much harder to backtrack. So wait for any social media until at least 13. And that's just what the manufacturers of Facebook and TikTok will tell you. You can wait longer. Be the last to hold out. And when you do let your child be on social media, there should be an apprenticeship. Just like the ocean, we don't say, hey, I trust you, go swim, and throw them out there before we've taught them how to swim or been with them while they deal with waves for the first time. It's the same thing with social media. These children should not be out there on their own, just scrolling and looking at whatever they do. They need us to come alongside them. So maybe that looks like the first month. Probably whoever's watching this needs to walk back whatever they've been doing. They've been letting unfettered access, and you are going to get so much pushback. But I think it's important when we parent teens to think about the future version of them. At 30, are they going to say, man, can't believe you wouldn't let me look at TikTok unfettered for 8 hours a day? No, they're going to say, thank you for protecting my childhood. Must have been hard, but thank you for making sure that there was supervision and that you knew where I was mentally, not just physically.
Wow. Parenting is not easy. I have a middle schooler myself and an elementary school age son as well. So I totally get it. It is not easy. And I appreciate you coming on and giving us some good tips as always. We look forward to talking with you again soon. Thank you so much for coming on, Mary.
You're welcome.